Hello, Education 223 Independent Study Group. I just wanted to take a moment to send you guys a video to, number one, apologize for the delay in uploading some things for you guys. There are some activities and conversations that we've had in our face-to-face class that support you and your work as independent study group. So I wanted us to get that finished in our face-to-face class so that you had that as a support for you in completing some of the last things for the semester for the course. So everything should be up and ready for you now. I'm just going to take a few minutes and kind of walk through where things are, what we still need to do, and touch base for the rest of the semester. So hopefully this should answer some questions. If not, please, as always, reach out. So I'm not going to worry about going into the syllabus because it will be a little bit off track. So I'm just going to go through a list of some of the items that we need to complete. So at this point, you should have either read or be reading all of the chapters of the textbook through chapter 15, chapter 16 also, but you don't have to do a wrapping it up quiz for chapter 16. So chapters 1 through 15, you will have read and completed the wrapping it up quiz. If you haven't already, then you need to do that. The second thing is the school to prison pipeline reflection. That information, the article and the rubric, is in week 9 of your course content folder. And so if anyone has not finished that, I did take a little peek and I don't have everyone's in, which is fine. But in week 9 you'll find there are 3 parts to the article, and then there's the rubric for the reflection, and then the Turnitin link for the reflection itself. The other thing is going to be an extra credit article. So if you look in the original feedback, the original syllabus, it mentions that there's a student choice article. Well, based on feedback that I got from some students, you guys have done a lot of work and a lot of reflections. So I'm making this last article, instead of being student choice and being required, it's going to be extra credit. So if you go into week 12 of your course content, I have a link here to a video that is of a pediatrician speaking about how childhood trauma impacts students and as they grow into adulthood, and what difference that makes in their experiences and their health. And then this is a link to the study that is referenced during that speech. And then here is a link to the reflection. So I will upload the rubric as well into week 12. So this is not required, but if you want to do it, it will be for extra credit. So the way the grade will work, when you submit it, it's going to show that this was worth 0 points, so that however many points you get, those are points added to your grade. So if you were to get a 25 out of 50 on your reflection, instead of that being a 50% factored into your grade, it's going to be 25 extra points factored onto your grade. So that is in week 12. It's not required, but if you want to do it, then it needs to be turned in by November 30th. All right, the next thing we're going to look at in week 13, your approaches to instruction. So this is one of the big things that I wanted us to work on in our face-to-face class before you all had to do this. So if you look in week 13, everything that you need is going to be here. So here's our Turnitin link for your approach to instruction. And then here's the rubric for your approaches to instruction. And it lays out exactly what you need to have. So let me first go into some of the other resources. So I've given you a template for you to use. It's in PowerPoint because you can build it as a slide, but you certainly don't have to do it this way. So I had some students that wanted to do this in like a bullet point list. I had some that wanted to do it in this format. But what you're looking for with your approaches to instruction is in chapter 13, I believe, we talk about taxonomies and we talk about the different approaches to instruction, and those are referenced in your rubric. So we talk about the behavioral approach, cognitive approach, humanistic approach, and social approach. So when you look at your PowerPoint slide, you'll see that there's one slide for each of those and then a reflection. So you can use this PowerPoint template to plug in the central key terms, so behavioral approach, humanistic approach, and then you're going to include the definition, facts and information, examples and non-examples. When you look at the rubric, it tells you exactly what you're going to have for each of those sections. And the biggest reason why I wanted to wait to have you guys do this is because when you go into week 13, you're going to see several anchor charts that are listed, and they directly align to each of those slides or parts of the rubric. So for example, taxonomy anchor chart. So in class we talked about this, and here is a picture of the anchor chart that the students created as they were finding that information. So you can use this as a resource. Double check with the rubric to make sure that you're getting the information that you need for the taxonomies, and then fill in the information on the taxonomy slide. And the same will be true when you get to social approach. I won't go through each of them, but we'll just do this one. So social approach, you will see, although you'll have to rotate it, but you'll see that the posters, the anchor charts are set up exactly in the same format as our PowerPoint slides. So you would put social approach right here, and then you'll notice that they've already found the definition, facts and information, examples, and non-examples. Always, always go back to the rubric to make sure that you have everything that's required that's listed here in your 6-point column for each of those. So the anchor charts that are listed here are a support for you, but please know that you will always reach back into that chapter just to make sure you have everything. If there's something that's missing from the anchor charts, but it's on the rubric, be sure you go and find it in the text so that you get those points. So your approaches to instruction, here's your link to turn it in, pardon me, and that is due November 30th as well. And then the last thing that we've added is in week 14, because probably most likely it's going to be next week or the week after that you get to this, is your field experience. So if you do not have a current placement where you are in a classroom, please email me as soon as you can because I need to get you a placement. Most likely I'll have you go to the daycare that's here on campus because that's one of the site visit options. The other options, if you don't have a placement right now, is Bowie's Creek Elementary, Coates Irwin Middle, or Harnett Central High. So if you don't have a placement through another class or a field experience, then you will need to be placed at one of those schools. But I have to know as soon as possible so I can make sure to get you in that placement. So what you're doing when you go in is identifying some key look-fors. So this was part of what we did in class, and so again, we wanted this resource ready for you so that you didn't have to do the legwork as well. I have it in a PDF form and a Word form, so if you want to edit it electronically, you can download the Word form, but it's the same thing. So these are the things that you're going to be looking for. So you have 3 categories that you're going to be looking for, traits, characteristics, and things in the classroom. So the environment. Is the environment open and safe? Are there rules and policies posted? Is it organized? Are there classroom management strategies? Is it welcoming for students, visually appealing? You'll notice that next to each look for, it indicates the chapter that you can reference. That will come into play when you're writing your reflection at the end. Then you have your teacher look fors. So you're looking to see, does the teacher use classroom management strategies? Are they engaged with the students? Are they able to teach all types of students? Are there no favorites? Are all students treated equally? Is there non-biased teaching happening? And is the teacher providing positive feedback to the students? Again, when you're reflecting in your final piece, you'll reference these chapters for those. And then the students, are they on task? Do they have respect for the teacher? Are they engaged in their learning? Are they working with others? Are they motivated? So despite your placement, whether it's from the daycare to high school, you should be able to see some of these look-fors. So you will take this form in with you when you go in to observe, and then you will come back and you will complete a reflection, and here is a rubric that explains that. So this will be at least 4 pages typed, which seems like a lot, but once you start writing the things that you've seen and you're citing your evidence from the text, it will be easy to fill those 4 pages, I promise. So you're going to have an introductory paragraph where you are going to give a thesis statement, you engage the reader, it doesn't have errors that are distracting, and you're kind of giving a summary of what your reflection paper is going to be about. Then in the next part of your writing, you're going to talk about your environment look-fors. You're going to summarize what you did and did not observe and what you did or did not observe. So if your look-for was rules and policies are posted, then you're going to talk about that. Yes, they were. No, they weren't. If they were, what were they? What were some of the rules and policies? And then you're going to use those chapter hints and parentheses there on your look-fors to cite text evidence. So if look-fors for environment are your rules and policies, then go back into chapter 12 and find out, why is that important? Why is that something that we wanted to look for? Why is that something that should be done in every classroom? Or what is the evidence to support that that is the best practice? So then you'll have the next part about the teacher. You'll do the same. You'll give a summary of what you did and did not observe and support it with your text evidence. Same for student indicators and look-fors. Then you'll have a reflection. So once you've talked about, you've done your introductory paragraph, you've done your environment, teacher, student paragraphs, then you're going to add a reflection. So talk about your visit. What was something positive? What was something that may be negative, or you have a suggestion? And make sure that you're writing, typing well. Include a question, something that you would have a question about, either related to the classroom or the visit or the look-fors or the course, but something that's connected to your field experience. Then your look-fors document itself. It's all going to be turned in, so I'm going to be seeing your notes and your reflection piece. So make sure you attach those as well. And then your citations. So when you're citing in the text, you want to use your in-text citations. Now, this doesn't mean that your whole paper has to be APA format. It can be just your in-text citations. I don't need the running head. I don't need a title page. I just need your in-text citations as well as a works cited. I do realize that for most of you, you're going to only have a works cited page with the one text, your textbook. But for some, you may be wanting to go and find additional pieces of evidence to support what you're observing. So if you do, then you will add those there. So in week 14, here's your link for your field experience journal. That is also due November 30th. So I am going to create an announcement that will summarize all of this for you, but you're going to make sure between now and November 30th you have read and completed all of your Wrapping It Up quizzes for chapters 1 through 15, your School to Prison Pipeline reflection that's in week 9, your extra credit article in week 12 only if you want to do it, your approaches to instruction that's in week 13, and your field experience, which is in week 14. Again, if you need to have a placement, please send me an email ASAP so that I can get that taken care of for you and you don't have to do everything last minute. So everything will be due by November 30th. I will upload the rubric that I didn't have in there for that assignment, and everything else should be up and ready to go for you guys. So if you need anything, please reach out, make an appointment, send me an email. Other than that, you have done well. You are in a great place for where you are in the semester. Just these few last things to wrap it up, and you are good to go. All right, thank you so much. You guys have a great rest of your term.